WASSCE 2023, May-June, Elective Chemistry, question number 2A. Carbon dioxide and silicon dioxide are both covalent bonds. Explain briefly why carbon dioxide is a gas, whereas silicon dioxide is a solid under ordinary conditions. Solution A. Before this, it is important to know the difference between intramolecular forces of attraction and then intermolecular forces of attraction. Now, for instance, the forces that holds atoms in a compound together are intramolecular forces. So, for instance, the bonds that holds oxygen and carbon together here are intramolecular forces. So they are responsible for the molecules, formation of the molecules. And then the intermolecular forces are forces that exist between molecules. For instance, CO2 molecule, the forces that exist between them attract them together, intermolecular forces. Okay. Now, carbon dioxide and silicon dioxide are both covalent compounds. Carbon dioxide is a gas because the intermolecular forces that exist between the molecules are very weak, and therefore the molecules break apart easily and move about in space. That is how come CO2, that is carbon dioxide, being a gas. In the case of silicon dioxide, the intermolecular forces are very strong and they form what we call three-dimensional covalent macromolecular network structure. So because of that, it is a solid. So we say carbon dioxide is a gas because it has simple molecular structure with weak intermolecular forces, which makes them break easily and move about in space. Whereas silicon dioxide is a solid because it forms a three-dimensional covalent macromolecular network structure with strong bonds. B. An element X reacts with bromine to form an ionic compound XBr2. I. State with reasons the physical state of XBr2 at room temperature. II. State with reasons whether X is a metal or non-metal. III. Predict two properties of XBr2 other than its physical state. IV. State the charge of an ion of X. I. State with reasons the physical state of XBr2 at room temperature. The question stated that the resulting compound, XBr2, is an ionic compound. And in an ionic compound, we always have a metal being positive and a non-metal being negative, forming the bond. And then the bond is an electrostatic bond. It's a very strong bond. The metal transfers electrons to the non-metal, and the metal ends up becoming positively charged, whereas the non-metal that receives the transfer of electrons becomes what? Negatively charged. So the question here says that state with reasons the physical state of XBr2. So XBr2 is a solid at room temperature. The reasons are alpha, it is an ionic bond with a giant ionic lattice structure. Second reason is beta. Strong electrostatic forces of attraction hold the oppositely charged ions together. Gamma, high thermal energy. Thermal means heat energy is needed to break these strong bonds, resulting in a high melting point. II, state with reasons whether X is a metal or non-metal. X is a metal. The reason is, first one, bromine is a non-metal. Number two, ionic compounds form between metal and non-metal. 3, element X must lose electrons to form a positive ion, that is cation, to bond with bromine. So the element X is a metal. III predict two properties of XBr2 other than its physical state. The physical state we mentioned earlier was solid. It is a solid. Now, because XBr2 is ionic, in molten and aqueous solution, they break down into their various ions, Br minus X2 plus, which is able to conduct electricity. And then also, because the bond exists between positive and negative ions, the bond between, which is electrostatic bond, is very strong. So high amount of energy is needed to break it. So we say that other properties of XBr2 are: 1, high melting and boiling points; 2, conduct electricity when molten or aqueous, but not when solid. IV, state the charge of an ion of X. Okay, now when you look at the ionic compound, this is how compound forms. The oxidation states are exchanged. So this will give this one the 2, and this one will give this one the 1. Okay, so when we are to reverse this, the charge of the X will be +2. So we say that BIV X has a charge of +2. Subscribe, like, share, and discuss with your friends. Thank you.